This is the first game in a Spurs shirt for Thierry Mendes. Spurs get off to a flyer 1-0 from the free kick. As soon as Mendes gets subbed on, Benacer scores the first goal of this preseason. Also guys, I am Ronnie, welcome back to another Cremate video. We are doing something different here, showing a new style. Spurs go on to get their second. Mendes gets his first goal for the club against Real Madrid, his former club, and he does celebrate. It is preseason and he's in front of the Spurs fan, sending a message. And another chance for Mendes where he gets past the defender, but he does end up losing the ball. Real Madrid do get a goal back to bring it 2-1. Lukaku with a beautiful cross into Abreu. But then that was not enough for Real Madrid to get back into this game, as Mendes went on to score a second, and yes again he does celebrate against his club. Real Madrid get another chance, but it's not enough, and Spurs get the first win of the preseason. The next match is a big one. It is another former club that Mendes is playing for, but this time a club he's more fond of. He's playing against Borussia Dortmund, the club where he first broke out onto the scene after transferring from Crystal Palace. And he does start off the game well, gets a few chances. But as the chances kept on coming for Mendes, Dortmund were able to resist all the pressure that Spurs were putting on them. Another chance Dortmund will be able to resist, but the resistance was not enough, as eventually Mendes did end up scoring for Spurs. And he does not celebrate against his former club, he just dedicates his goal to God. And after the goal and the game progressed, Dortmund were able to get a bit more into the game. Spurs still kept a bit of the pressure, but most of the chances in the second half were for Borussia Dortmund. And unfortunately, chances kept on coming and they just kept on missing, and they ended up losing 1-0 to Spurs, inspired by Mendes. Now, the last game of the preseason was probably the biggest one. Spurs versus Atletico Madrid. Okay, you could say it was Real Madrid, but Real Madrid do not have a very strong team. And Mendes did get the first chance of the game that he probably should have put away, but the goalkeeper was able to save it. And again, the chances kept on coming for Thierry Mendes, but again, he was unable to score from them. Neither were Atletico Madrid from the very few chances they were able to get. And from the corner that Spurs earned, Mendes did pick up a little bit of a knock in the box. Referee waved play on. Atletico Madrid got a chance again, but they were unable to score from. So from the rest of the game, Mendes is playing with an injury. Atletico Madrid continue to try and get a goal and get back into the game, but it's as if there's a force field around the Spurs goal. And to be fair, it is the same problem with Spurs. They have plenty of chances, but they're just unable to put any of them away. And again, it's as if there's a force field around the Atletico Madrid goal, as Spurs just kept on fighting. So did Atletico Madrid, but the ball just wouldn't go in, and ultimately the game ends as a 0-0 stalemate. Now the Premier League season begins. Match week 1, this is where everybody starts caring. Tottenham 1-0 behind. Mendes with a beautiful goal to score an equalizer to bring Spurs back into the game. But ultimately Spurs come short and they do lose 2-1 to Southampton after a late double by the Saints. And Spurs will have to wait until the next game week to get the first points of the season. Now, the start of the Spurs-Newcastle game was a lot more entertaining than any of the preseason games, probably the closest game so far. Newcastle getting the first chance of the game, and they were able to put it away and make it 1-0 to the Magpies. And Spurs, yet again, are going to have to show up in this game if they want to stay with a chance of fighting for Europe. because they're currently in the Europa League this season. And Spurs looking for an instant reply back, which they do get. Thierry Mendes getting his first Premier League goal for Spurs, and a brilliant goal by him. And Spurs are back into this one at 1-1. But that Spurs goal will come with a cost, as Spurs just continue to try and resist the Newcastle pressure. Shot after shot after shot. Newcastle kept bombarding the Spurs goal until finally they were able to get a goal through Kai Havertz with a brilliant volley into the back of the Spurs net. Not sure why he plays for Newcastle, but he has scored an absolute peach of a goal to put Newcastle back into the lead. And yet again, Newcastle attempt to cross into the box, but it's a Spurs counter-attack, and the ball falls to who else but Thierry Mendes to bring it level yet again. And yet again, he carries Spurs to an equalizer at 2-2. And yet again, Spurs are back in this one. And now Spurs slowly get back into this game with more chances and more shots on goal. Spurs were unable to take their chances, and as a result, Newcastle slowly start to go back into the game. Then finally, after the Spurs pressure failed to result into a goal, Newcastle got a corner, and that is where they scored the third goal of the game to bring them in front. 70th minute, Alexander Isak scores the goal, and he celebrates with the Newcastle manager. Yet again, Spurs find themselves behind, and yet again, Mendes decides to take initiative for himself. This goal could result in a draw for Tottenham Hotspurs. Spurs were unable to score from their chance. Thierry Mendes unable to finish. And Newcastle attack again. It is saved by the goalkeeper. And that chance for Spurs would prove to be the last chance Spurs had of getting a result from this game. And they end up losing 3-2. And Spurs are now in the relegation zone, unable to pick up a single point from their first two games. The third game, they are going to need to improve a lot. Match week 3. Tottenham Hotspurs currently sitting bottom of the Premier League with 0 points. Play against Bournemouth, and they need a result. Thierry Mendes getting the first goal of the game for Spurs, and it is 1-0. But yet again, it is not enough, and Spurs lose 3-1. And after 3 game weeks, they currently sit bottom of the Prem on 0 points. Game week 4, and Spurs have Burnley. They need to win this game to get out of the relegation zone. The first chance is saved by the goalkeeper. Now, this was not an easy game as you would expect it to be. Burnley did actually get a fair few amount of chances in this game. They did also have a few rocky moments in defense where they probably should have done better, but most of the times they were able to luckily survive. But Spurs were able to get a goal on the score sheet, courtesy of Thierry Mendes yet again, taking initiative and scoring a beautiful goal. To a genuine question, do Spurs have a nickname? Like, you know, I talked about the Blues, Everton are the Toffees, Liverpool the Red. What is Spurs? Are they just the Spurs? Because I can't think of anything. Burnley tried their hardest. They got chances in this game, but they were unable to put most of them away. The rest of this game was really cagey. Few chances for both teams. But Mendes here really should have scored there, but he probably messed up that shot. And there the Burnley player commits a foul, very cynical, and he does get booked. Full time, Spurs get their first win of the season. A very tight 1-0 win over Burnley. But at the end of the day, it is a result and it is 3 points. So the Spurs fans will appreciate that. They'll probably not appreciate the fact they are in the relegation zone. But when you look at the Spurs team on paper, They only really have Musiala and Mendes and no one else. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you next time. Goodbye.
CB hollow, 7 minds will always follow for that showtime of the Apollo into the vaccine and borrow. I'm the king of sorrow. I don't know weakness, I won't show like Jacob, I will blow. Disregard your so being past tails like I've been up here, bro.